This is why you are stuck. Real estate agents, this is why you are stuck and capped out at 1,000 views per your social media post. Guys, I just got back from a presentation at a Coldwell Banker branch out here in LA, and I had a question that was asked to me that I thought was really, really telling. An agent asked me, hey, I'm stuck at 1,000 views. There must be some kind of a glitch or a cap because every single time I post, I get stuck at 1,000 views and I can never get past it. And so I immediately thought, okay, there's some kind of an issue with their settings. Maybe there's a cap that you could somehow put in. And upon looking at her content, I realized there's no setting. It's just simply she's getting 1,000 views, or sometimes slightly more than 1,000, slightly less than 1,000. And she's saying, hey, like, I have this piece of content that is, I can only get 1,000 views or 1,300 views. And what that means to me is that we don't understand necessarily how the algorithms push out our content. Because when we push out a piece of content, there is no guarantee that we will get any views on that content. The only way that we will possibly get views organically whenever we put content out there on social media, whether that's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, any platform, is that at first, the algorithm will show it to a small group of people, right? That's like your inner circle. That's like your mom or your best friend, the person who always watches your content. There's like 5 or 10 of those people. They will get served your content. If they respond well to the content, they have a high engagement rate. And the best example of this in video is if they watch a high percentage of the video. If you put a minute video out there and people watch 40, 50 seconds of it or the full video, or they watch the video multiple times, the algorithm says, awesome. When we send out the content to the people who are most interested in this person's videos normally, they responded very well. Let's send it to a slightly wider audience. And that is when you get in front of people who see your content every once in a while. And those people are the ones who, they might interact every once in a while, they might engage. They're less of an easy audience, right? They are people who probably know you, are familiar with you, but they don't consume your content every single time you post, like, you know, that inner circle. They're kind of your medium circle. And then those people, if they respond well to that content, if they have a high retention rate, meaning they watch the whole video through or a high percentage of the video all the way through, then that tells the algorithm, cool, we took a chance on the first circle, that proved well. We took a chance on the second circle, the people who are slightly less familiar with your content, that worked well. Now, let's push it out wider and wider and wider. And this process will continue until you get a low return on your engagement, until you get people who are hardly watching the video or not even stopping the scroll, right? That is when you get in front of the audience that is not engaging at all, and that is ultimately where your views will stop. Again, this is organically. So when you put a piece of content out there and you get a lot of people to watch it very quickly, but then it feels like, man, I'm getting capped out at this 1,000, viewer threshold, or I'm only getting 1,000 views, and I keep frequently hitting that. It's because you keep getting to the same stage, the same general audience that is interested up to a degree, and then you're not able to get beyond that. Because think about it this way. Facebook, Instagram, all the social media platforms out there, they all make money the same way. The longer you stay on the platform, the more ads you will be served, which means the more money they will make. So their goal is for you to stay on the platform forever. They don't want you to ever leave. And so they will only serve you content based off of their massive amounts of data that prove you will stay on the platform if you are served that content, or at least to a high degree of certainty. If they show you a video, they know that you are likely to watch it, engage with it. This is why these algorithms are so addicting, because they're very good at knowing the content that will keep us there. So if they're going to put your content in front of somebody's feed, they know very well that that person is likely to watch it. And once you get to the point where you're no longer getting a lot of views on your content, you're no longer getting a high engagement rate when they put your content out there, they will start putting other people's content, other videos, other posts on that person's feed instead of yours. So the question is not, why am I capped at this percentage or at this total number of views? The question is, okay, what am I creating in my content? What is good about it? What is bad about it? Or what could be improved, I should say. And then once you understand the things that are getting people to stay longer, you should do more of that. And when you get the content that is getting people to leave, then you should do less of that. And the best way to do this is short form content that you can post and test out and see what people are reacting really well to. Because if they react really well to topics A, B, and C, you should do more of that. And then topics W, X, Y, and Z, they don't perform well. They don't get a lot of viewership. You should avoid those. And then ultimately what you will start to do is you will build content that is only the high tier content. And that is when your entire threshold, your entire cap will change dramatically. And then you will get to a point where you get capped out at 10,000 views or higher than that, because you will keep growing until you hit a constraint. And if you don't get beyond that constraint and you just keep recording the same kind of stuff, that is where volume will not help you. You will keep getting that same amount of views, so you will keep getting views, yes, but you won't grow your average views per video, because that is going to require an actual change in the type of content. Now, as time goes on and you build a level of familiarity with your audience, if you establish your brand in a positive way, then they will trust you and they will give you more benefit of the doubt. And so that will happen as well. People will, if they like your content, they will start to watch longer because they have faith that they'll find some value in it. But that takes a long time to build up, and that really just comes down to, again, you have to establish value and establish a good track record in the first place. So ultimately, if you're getting stuck at like a couple hundred or 1,000 or a couple thousand or 10,000 views and you can't get beyond it, the problem is that, one, you're probably not putting enough volume out there to understand what's working well. Two, you have to be patient. Ultimately, it will take time to build a massive organic audience. It's a highly competitive field, just like anything else. It will take a lot of time. And then three, you need to be iterating. You need to be constantly improving, or at least testing. And whether that does worse or better, you will have data that will tell you what direction you should move in. If you should lean into that kind of stuff, or if you should lean away from that. And ultimately, you will start to find the things that people are engaging with, that they want to see more of, that they want to watch more of, because it's not something that the algorithm doesn't like about you. It's not something that there's some setting that will not get you 1,000 more views. If you're only getting 1,000 views, it's because you've only earned 1,000 views. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Especially in real estate, that could be great. If they're all quality potential prospects, that could be life-changing for your business. But if you still want to get more, then you have to reiterate and you have to improve, because the higher you go, the higher competition you'll have, the higher tier of competition. Because if you get to the place where they're going to serve your content to 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 people, now you're competing with folks whose entire job it is just to make entertaining content. And as real estate agents, we have the disadvantage of the fact that our content has to be for a kind of an audience that is looking to buy or sell real estate. Otherwise, it's not helping us. But the advantage there is that this is not our only revenue generating machine. We don't need to just rely on ad spend or ad revenue for our business if you're generating some. Ultimately, that's just icing on the cake. What we're really getting is building a brand that is going to get buyers or sellers to want to work with us. And that doesn't require a ton of views. But if you want more, you have to iterate. Hope that was helpful. See you in the next one.